Normandy, June 1944. Near Carrington, the world is a maze of hedgerows and mud. For the American paratroopers of the 101st, every step is a gamble. They move low, faces painted, rifles ready, ghosts in the morning mist. In the distance, the German Panzer smolders, a grim trophy from a battle just won. Private Novak, the Bazooka loader, breathes out, smoke and adrenaline clinging to him. His eyes hold the vacant stare of a man who's just stared death down. From above, a Spitfire sees only a patchwork quilt of green fields, unaware of the brutal chaos stitched into its seams. Home soldiers scramble for cover, dragging their wounded, returning fire into the unseen. Medics work frantically behind a stone wall, their red crosses a beacon of hope amidst the carnage. A photographer kneels, his Leica camera capturing history, framing the raw, unposed reality of this fight. Instant of impact, a Panzer IV frontal plate bursts outward in a harsh white bloom, fire and smoke punching through the cupola. As the tank lurches violently to one side, its right track spinning uselessly in wet Normandy mud, the hedgerows behind it shimmer with heat distortion as dawn light catches the rising steam. Inside the burning Panzer, viewed from the open hatch, smoke thick as wool pours from the fighting compartment silhouettes of scattered equipment. Barely visible through the orange glow, the driver's gloves fuse to the controls as he slumps forward in the cramped steel interior. A turret roof blown open like a peeled can, jagged metal curled upward. Fragments suspended in the air like metallic petals. A column of oily smoke shoots into the morning sky as the tank lists to its right, its engine still whining in mechanical agony. The bocage illuminated by flames, 30-foot tongues of fire licking skyward and boiling dew from the hedgerow leaves. Branches drip with condensation turned to steam, and the intense backlight throws long, twisting shadows across the mud-choked lane. The wrecked Panzer grinding itself into the earth, one track still clawing at the ground, sending arcs of dirt into the air as the tank sinks forward. The commander's form lies half submerged beside the hull boots coated in soot and morning moisture. PFC John Bazooka Joe Novak, lowering the empty tube face smeared with dirt and shock, smoke curling around him as his shoulders rise and fall with heavy breaths. The destroyed tank burns behind him, casting stark white highlights across his helmet. Corporal Eddie Zippo Malone staring wide-eyed, his mouth half open, still gripping the spent rocket tube spare round. He's drenched in sweat and dew, backlit by the burning Panzer, his silhouette sharp against the smoke. The lieutenant with a notepad kneeling in the mud, jotting down one rocket, one tank. 649, his helmet crooked, head trembling slightly. Behind him, G has emerged cautiously from foxholes carved in the hedgerows. American riflemen peeking from a sunken lane, their faces half hidden by ferns and earth, watching the burning tank with stunned disbelief. One soldier presses a hand against his helmet as if steadying his own thoughts. Rot 1 and Rot 2 reversing hard. Both Panzer IVs shrouded in early morning smoke, their engines roaring as they grind backward over churned soil. Commanders half exposed from cupolas scanning for the unseen threat that destroyed their lead tank. Lieutenant Dieter Voss gripping his throat microphone, face tight with unease, eyes wide as he issues a warning to hold fire. The reflection of the burning wreck dances across his goggles as he leans out of the turret. A German radio operator inside a retreating Panzer, hunched over the set, headphones buzzing with frantic German transmissions. The faint glow from the burning Panzer washes through the driver's visor slot, bathing the interior in flickering highlights. American infantry sprawled in a hedgerow hollow, rifles pointed downslope, smoke drifting over them in thin sheets. One GI wipes dirt from his cheek with a trembling hand, his expression caught between fear and amazement. Close-up of the Panzer's torn frontal armor. Fist-sized hole punched through the 80mm plate, metal edges curled outward, and still glowing faintly. Mud and dew cling to the lower glacis, like sweat on skin. The sun rising through smoke, casting high-contrast rays across the lane, illuminating debris, a broken pair of binoculars, a map case, fragments of track link scattered in the mud like dark teeth. A Signal Corps photographer sprinting forward, Leica slung at his chest, coat flapping as he moves toward the burning tank to capture the aftermath. Smoke swirls around him in tight spirals against the morning light. A squad of medics rushing past the flaming wreck, gear bouncing, Red Cross armbands stark white against soot-smeared uniforms. Their faces set in grim determination as they scan the lane for wounded. The two retreating panzers framed between hedgerow walls. Exhaust pouring from their rear decks, tracks churning through soft soil. Overhead, smoke from rot 3 curls into the sky like a dark banner marking their hesitation. A discarded field cap lying in a puddle, its insignia bent and blackened, faint ripples spreading from the falling ash. Reflected in the puddle is the towering column of smoke rising from the destroyed Panzer. A final wide shot of the lane, the burning tank dominating the center of frame. Its flames illuminating rows of crouched Gias and the fading silhouettes of reversing German armor behind the smoke. The soft, cold dawn filters through the chaos, freezing the moment in stark documentary contrast. Pre-dawn gloom over the Douve River, a deadly new chapter of the war began. Lieutenant Dieter Voss, his platoon armed with a captured American bazooka, unleashed it upon its creators, shattering a vital bridge in a fiery explosion. The audacious strike sent shockwaves through the American lines. Sergeant Novak watched the flames, knowing this was more than a single attack. It was an escalation. The response was swift and innovative. Mechanics welded makeshift armor onto Sherman tanks, while quartermasters handed out rockets marked return to sender. Near St. Lay, the German panzers rolled into a trap. American bazooka teams hidden in the orchards crippled the advance. From a church steeple, Voss could only watch as the American armored wave, bristling with their own improvised weapons, advanced unstoppably. The bazooka circus had come full circle. July 26, 1944, on the outskirts of St. Lay. This was no ordinary tank battle. This was the birth of Bazooka Lane. 8 German Panther tanks, the survivors of a brutal armored clash, limped down a road, choked with the burning carcasses of their own. Atop his command tank, Oberstleutnant von Hauser stood defiant, but panic crackled over his radio. Bazookas in the trees. Bazookas in the ditches. Suddenly, the Sherman tank Lucky Lady roared from the tree line. Sergeant Novak, riding the turret like a madman, spotted a gap. His loader, Zippo Malone, rammed a fresh rocket into the Sherman's custom-welded bazooka rack. They charged, tracks grinding over wreckage. A Panther fired point-blank, the shell screaming past. Novak returned fire, a hip shot from his bazooka. The rocket streaked across the battlefield, striking the enemy commander's cupola. The German formation crumbled. By 1710, the last Panther was a raging inferno. Engineers hammered stakes into the mud, renaming the road Bazooka. Have you ever heard the saying? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Well, this story from World War II is the perfect example. Picture this. It's August 1944, near the French town of Saint-Denis-du-Cramasnay. The Allies are pushing through Normandy, but the German forces have a fearsome new weapon, the Tiger II, or King Tiger tank. This beast was a 70-ton monster with incredibly thick armor and a devastating 88mm gun. It seemed invincible. On the other side, we have the American M4 Sherman tank. Much lighter, faster, but with armor that a King Tiger could punch through like paper. But the Allies were clever. They created a special version of the Sherman called the Porcupine Package. This wasn't an official name, but it's what they called Shermans fitted with a new, experimental T-34 Calliope rocket launcher mounted on the turret. It looked like a porcupine with its quills up, ready for a fight. Let's meet our main character, but he's not who you might expect. He's German Feldwebel Otto Kraus, an experienced tank commander. His unit has just received these brand new King Tigers and they're feeling pretty confident. Kraus is ordered to a defensive position on a ridge, waiting to ambush any Allied armor that dares to show its face. He spots a lone Sherman tank moving in the valley below. To him, this is an easy kill, a sitting duck. He orders his gunner to aim and fire. But this wasn't just any Sherman, it was a porcupine. The American crew saw the King Tiger at the same time. They knew their main gun couldn't penetrate the Tiger's frontal armor at that range, but they had a secret weapon. As Kraus's gunner fired, missing his target, the Sherman crew unleashed a massive salvo of 60 rockets. It was a terrifying sight, a storm of fire and smoke heading straight for the King Tiger. The rockets slammed into the German tank. While they couldn't pierce the thickest parts of the armor, they hit the turret, the tracks, and the engine deck. The explosions caused a massive fire, filling the crew compartment with thick, choking smoke. Panicked and blinded, Otto Kraus and his crew had no choice but to bail out of their supposedly invincible machine. The abandoned King Tiger, one of the first to be knocked out in combat, was then finished off by other Allied forces. This incredible David versus Goliath story shows how innovation and a little bit of unexpected firepower can turn the tide of battle, even against the most fearsome opponents. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this piece of history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more amazing stories from the past. See you next time.